where would we be without hope? Hope keeps us going. Hope keeps us, we have the assurance of our hope, we're told, in Christ Jesus, and therefore we must unite ourselves to Christ, ever walk with him in the hope of his continued blessings and sanctification.
I think everything I do at work, in personal life, needs to contribute to the goal of a hopeful outcome.
For me, to be a pilgrim is actually literally true because I live an itinerant life. I live on the road. I've been living on the road for 3.5 years. I live out of a bag. I move every few days. So to be a pilgrim of hope is to receive the hospitality that people give.
So pilgrimage is an experience of one foot in front of the other. Step by step we move in trust and faith, in surrender to the mystery, without really knowing exactly where we'll arrive, where we're going, but with belief that we're going where God needs us to go.
Hope for us is to look at the future with optimism, with confidence, knowing that it's not our resources that we rely on, but we rely on the relationship that we have with one another and the presence of Jesus whenever we love one another. So hope for us is having Jesus among us and let him guide us in the process.
I think to be a pilgrim of hope is really one who can spread joy to everyone that they encounter. I feel like this world can be so dark and can be so depressing, and people are running around very anxious and intense, and I think so much we forget the joy in our life and the joy in daily living, that spreading hope and spreading joy is what lifts people up, gives them a sense of purpose, gives them a sense of meaning in their life, and a recognition that they're loved.
For me personally now in this time with all the travel and all that kind of thing, that's the imagery that comes into my mind is God has promised me something, and he's got me on a path that it's sometimes hard, lots of good things, but also hard things. But you do it because you know that there's a promise waiting for you.
Being hopeful and in a world that is very challenging at the moment gives you a sense of security in the Lord, that he'll always be there for us, that he will always give us the grace to endure and continue to be hopeful. And no matter the challenges, no matter the difficulties, if we have hope and if we have the trust in God, then everything will fall into place as God has planned it for us.
So being a pilgrim of hope is journeying this world, journeying through this time of loss and darkness and beauty that God has created in this world. There's a lot of mix because of sin and because of God's grace, a lot of this mixture. But it's going through our journey of life, knowing that God has a vocation for you, that everybody's called to the same vocation of loving God, loving one another, bringing them to Christ so that we can be united in him.
I think we're living in a time when a lot of people it's get a sense there's a lot of despair and a lot of loss of hope. So I think part of being a person of faith is to be a person of hope, because after all, hope is simply faith expressed into the future. So I think we're called to be missionaries of hope, really to be good news to people. And I think that's why it's so important to live with a sense of hope, to always say, you know what, I know it sounds trite, but things are going to be okay, because that's what faith ensures us.
To be a pilgrim of hope for me means to spread the gospel in everyday life, whether that be at work, at a personal event, and just bringing the love and hope that Jesus Christ brings for all of us into everyday life.
For me, to be a pilgrim of hope this year, I think is to have a personal encounter with Jesus this year. I think we're all called to have a real personal encounter, especially in a year of mercy, and just reevaluating, like, how is Jesus the hope of my life, in my faith, in my everyday walk, and just having a personal encounter with the Lord.
Being a Pilgrim of Hope means that we understand that we're uniquely destined for something remarkable in the world because God created us just as we are to be His love in the world around us. And so we trust that even when we make mistakes and mess up, that God has a unique and powerful purpose for our life and a mission for us.